Alright, my name is DC, and I'll be, giving a few reasons why, or maybe demonstrating why Ruben Amorim's 3-4-3 really did not work out in the Premier League. It brought a lot of suffering upon Manchester United. Alright, so initially this formation seems to be very good because you'd say it's very defensive, but it can be a very attacking formation. Let's say, for example, you have the three dedicated defenders, gives you good defense. If you have very good attacking fullbacks, you're going to probably have more attack because if these guys push on, and then you have a situation whereby you also have an added midfielder that's probably going to be in around this area here. Yeah, in and around this particular area here, so that in case things are difficult to play through, they can probably just shoot and they score a goal, get a deflection, hit the post, just something. And then you probably have the covering player that's here, so that what they do is that they provide cover / rest defense whenever the team pushes up. This in theory looks very good, but in reality it's very horrible. Number one, he was playing Amad Diallo as a fullback, which is terrible because you're playing him in this fullback position. Because in the best case scenario, the job of this fullback is to cross the ball. So now you have a fullback that's inverted, which means they're on the right side of the pitch, but they are a preferably left-footed player, which means this player probably has to turn and then go to their left foot, which creates problems because this player, let's say for example is Mbeumo, he wants to cut and shoot, these two do not balance. One is supposed to be looking to cross the ball, and the other one is supposed to be looking to shoot, so that in case, let's say for example, they push forward, let's say for example, this is a good example of a very good team that implemented the 3-4-3, Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel. Reece James, for the sake of it, Mason Mount here. No. Okay, ZH, yeah, ZH. If he wants, ZH can go in and shoot, or if he wants, he can lay the ball to, Reece James. Reece James puts in a cross, and then he helps other people score. That was some of the problems. Also, this side, he had Diego Dallo playing as an Why would you have inverted fullbacks? And then that's another problem with Ruben Amorim. In one of his first press conferences, he actually said, "I only know how to coach one system." Imagine telling your boss, "I only know how to use Excel." Imagine telling your boss, "I only know how to drive automatic." Imagine telling your boss, "I only what other example can I get? I can only use PowerPoint or something." In the Premier League and as a manager of Manchester United, you have to be very adaptable. You have to be able to do different things. All right, and then in this too, because usually what would happen, this would be Cunha, this would be Mbeumo, and oftentimes either Sheshko, Mount, or Xerxes, which I can't lie, Mason Mount as a force, to be honest, no. Having a central striker is good, but you also, the thing with inverted wingers is that you don't know when they're going to shoot or when they're going to pass the ball. Because if you're going to give the player on their right foot the side, and then you give him the chance to score, he's probably going to try and shoot, right? So it's one of those things, but it did work out in certain games. Then now, the biggest problem here, midfield. Midfield was a very big problem. Okay. Excuse me. I was just getting my, see, I haven't found an eraser. I love this tactics board. One of the biggest problem was here in the midfield, where you'd probably have Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro / Ugarte. Ugarte, to be honest, for me, I don't know. He's just not it. For me, I see him as a squad player, and not even a squad player. I see more of a scrapyard player. When I say scrapyard, it simply means he's the player that who would be very useful in a game where it's just because the game has just become, like, it's become bad. People are tackling each other, like it's for the sake of, there's no order, there's just chaos. Ogate is perfect because he seems very aggressive, and he can how can I say this? He can establish himself or make his authority known in that type of match. But if the game requires control, a smooth mind, elegance, that is not Ugate's field. It really isn't. So you have Bruno Fernandes, who would be playing deeper, which causes more problems because Bruno Fernandes, he has his goods, he has his pros and cons, but if you want to get the best out of him without, maximizing on the cons, play him as high up the pitch as you can. Really, you should do that because he will be in and around in the box. He can shoot, he can cross, he can do many things. If you put him deep here, and remember, this is a player that loses the ball a lot. He rushes his passes. rushes his passes. So you need someone that's elegant. And then that's where the frustrating thing was. It really didn't make sense because he could only coach one system. So Bruno Fernandes was playing deeper, which means that he was in a position where he could lose the ball more or not really connect. And then you had Casemiro, which, to be honest, he's a very good player, but you needed energy. Kobe Mino, he may not be as good as we may see him to be, but what matters is that he has energy. He can run up down the pitch. Casemiro, he uses experience, but eventually you have to tackle someone, put himself on the yellow, and you'll be looking very shaky for the rest of the game. He's very composed, but he will make that last ditch challenge, even if it means him getting a red card. Yeah. Then the assumption that people make with a back three is that you have more defense. But in reality, it becomes very difficult. Because let's say, for example, no, you know what? Okay, yeah, let's just push these people forward so that I can make space for what I want to show. Let's say, for example, you have a situation here whereby, let's say there's a front three, you also have these people pushing forward. Yeah, let's push them higher. You come higher, you come higher. All right, so the main problem is that comes with this back three is defensive responsibility. Let's say, for example, the players that are in front, let's say, for example, this front three, let's just add someone here and then number 6, that's here, right? The problem that you have here is that most of the time, you'd find that most players will not be man-to-man with them. You know where they'll stand? In between the defenders. So you find that one is probably standing here, another one is standing here, maybe one is just out wide, and then there's this situation. So in this situation, whose responsibility is it to mark this player? Whose responsibility is it to mark this player? Whose responsibility? So you have 3 players. So which means at any point, if one person stands in the middle, it's in between these two to communicate to each other who's marking who. And that's where problems start. And that's why you found with Manchester United, there were points where you'd be wondering, why aren't they picking up their men? You'd find just standing in between those 2 players, of course, confusion. Is it the number 5? Does it mean the number 2 goes back down? Or maybe it's the number 2's position, the decision just to be up ahead. He's going to provide the cover. And especially if there's no cover from the defense, it makes it even worse. Not even from the defense, but the midfielders. My camera's down a bit below. It makes things even worse because you don't know who to mark. Because you'll be like, it's your job. No, it's your job. So let's say, for example, this is Haaland. And then this is Lisandro Martinez and this is Maguire. Maguire has the physical capabilities to deal with Haaland, but Lisandro Martinez would be closer to Haaland. So who marks who? And because of these gaps, you would find there are very annoying things whereby you'd be asking, do these people talk to each other? And for me, it would be very surprising because these people train together. You can't be telling me, you can't just automatically tell that this is my job, this is his job. Very frustrating things. And the manager also was a very big... Okay, another problem with this system was you'd find that opportunities were falling to the wrong people. Because during this 3-4-3 disaster class that was at Manchester City, in fact, let's just be honest, people will say, no, a 3-4-3 is very good. Many people have won, but come on. You would say, no, the 4-3-3, sorry, the 3-4-3 is a really good formation. No, teams have won titles. Chelsea. You'd say, no, Chelsea won it. They had Jorginho, Kante, and is it Kovacic? I think they also had Kovacic. Very good midfield. No, Chelsea under Conte, Kante, Fabregas. Who was the other one? Victor Moses. He could do a very good job there. Juventus won it with a back using something like that. Marchisio, Pogba, Vidal. You cannot compare these players to Casemiro, Mount, Bruno Fernandes. You can't. Do not disrespect to Manchester United. That's my team. But you just cannot compare. You just cannot compare the level of players that were there. Those were one of many problems. Unfortunately, there's not enough time to explain all these problems because I could go individually with players. Maguire, Alessandro, and who's this other one left-sided? Could be Aiden Heaven or Delete. The midfield, what they usually do. Diego Dallo, no, this is Amad Diallo. Diego Dallo, Diego Dallo, just for the sake of it. We do not know what type of footballer this man is. Who's this one? Okay, Dog was actually good. Ahmad, he was not really being used well. So many problems, so little time. If you want a part 2, you might as well just comment so that, I can start dissecting and probably use... I can yap as much as I can. Otherwise, not enough time to say all the problems. And if you want anything else for me to cover in this, please do leave a comment and I'll see you in the next one.